let's talk about if Ariana Dumbledore was an Obscurial. First, what is an Obscurus? So in Fantastic Beasts, after Newt gets captured and he's in Makusa's dungeons or whatever you like to call it, he explains to Tina and Jacob what an Obscurus is. And he describes it as a magical entity that manifests itself usually in a child who has magic suppressed in some way. So, to answer if Ariana Dumbledore was indeed an Obscurial, let's work backwards. First, from the reveal of Graves as Grindelwald. So the whole mission for Grindelwald in this movie was to find the Obscurial that was going around New York City. At first, we're led to believe it's this little 8-year-old girl that is this blonde girl throughout the movie, but then of course we find out that it is indeed Credence. And Grindelwald is fascinated with this power that this dark entity has, and he wants to manifest it. He even slips it a little bit. In his interrogation with Newt, he says, are we able to control it? Can we use it? And is it useful without its host? And Newt's like, why would you ever want to use it? And he kind of tries to change the subject. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I thought it was a pretty cool moment. So, to become an Obscurial, you have to have your magic suppressed. For Credence, it was his Muggle caretaker trying to beat it out of him. And for Ariana, it was a group of Muggle boys who attacked him after they found out that she knew magic and she couldn't reproduce that same magic. They basically bullied her and attacked her. So we have a check mark there. She has a reason to have suppressed magic, and she had a traumatic experience with Muggle boys. But the biggest clue actually comes from Aberforth, Albus Dumbledore's brother and Ariana's older brother. In the Deathly Hallows novel, he says, "It destroyed her, what they did. She was never right again. She wouldn't use magic, but she couldn't get rid of it. It turned inward and drove her mad. It exploded out of her when she couldn't control it, and at times she was strange and dangerous. But mostly she was sweet and scared and harmless." This seems to be the perfect description for an Obscurial. We have the traumatic experience, the repression of magic, and an uncontrollable and dangerous entity. And it's made all the worse by Kendra Dumbledore, Ariana's mother, who decides to hide her daughter away from the world. Her mother did have good intentions. She didn't want her to go to St. Mungo's and to be studied, but it would have been for Ariana's benefit because of their whole secrecy law. They can't have Ariana just out and about, so they do have to, make sure that she is quarantined. But, of course, someone's mother, they won't want to see their baby go away. So that makes sense there that she would keep her. All that will build up. She's going to still have her magic suppressed. They're going to make sure that she's not going to have her episodes. So that's just going to get worse and worse. And it does. At the age of 14, Ariana accidentally kills her mom. Officially, at least according to Bathilda Bagshot and other historians, Kendra was killed by a hex gone wrong. One conjured by Ariana. Or at least that's what Albus and Aberforth were telling to the public. But this could have been a cover-up to hide Ariana's sinister nature, which makes sense. I mean, if she is an Obscurial and she just killed her mother with her Obscurus, then you would want to repress that. You don't want anybody to know about that. But this is where we hit our first snag. If we recall Newt's description in the cell, he says the oldest recorded Obscurial was no more than 10 years old, and the one that he was trying to help was only 8. Ariana, however, was 14. But this still might work, as Newt specifically says that the oldest documented Obscurial was 10 years old. And because the Dumbledores tried to hush it up, Ariana was, indeed, undocumented. So it all seems to fit. Is this a clue that Ariana Dumbledore was indeed an Obscurial? And beyond that, considering that Albus and Gellert were close friends in youth, did that strike the curiosity of Grindelwald, which leads to the events of Fantastic Beasts? I think it all adds up, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, peace, love, and mischief managed.